I received a great question from Kyrie Hall, and he asks, Jamie, how do you set expectations in your office? Another way I look at that is, how do you communicate the standards? And so as I travel around to different offices, I believe in every office, I can't remember an office I've been to where I haven't seen this, everybody's got a dry erase board. We've even got whiteboards on our Zoom calls where we can, visualize things, draw things out, things like that. So everybody's got one of those. I'm always looking for the Constitution beside the dry erase board. And I'm usually met with Constitution, we should have a copy of the US Constitution. No, not exactly. We should have a standards doc is what I have, but I always call this my Constitution. And I'm always taping this up beside the dry erase board because I want to reference it often. I want a place where people can see in writing what the standards are for the business, what the Constitution is for the business. So we're going to dive into this today. How do we communicate our standards? Let's start off just talking about the Constitution. Okay, what exactly is a Constitution? So here's the research that I dug up here a little bit. A Constitution is a written document that outlines the fundamental principles and rules of an organization. Now, let's just look at the US Constitution because that's obviously where the word is popular. So written in 1787, little history here. And it's a practical blueprint for governing the new nation. That's really what it was. And as I'm sure everybody knows, there's 27 amendments, right? So it's kind of a living, breathing document, if you will. The first 10 amendments are known as the Bill of Rights, ratified in 1791. And then an additional 17 amendments were ratified between 1795, early on in history, all the way to 1992, addressing a variety of issues like voting rights, prohibition, etc. And so when I'm thinking of the Constitution, and I'm thinking of it being in writing, I've always said, if we're teaching the business through folklore, what are you talking about, Jamie? Well, think about how people used to get educated pre-Gutenberg era, right? I think Gutenberg in the 1500s or late 1400s or something like that. You'd pass information down sitting around a campfire playing a guitar or something like that. But once it was written, once things were put into writing, you can now pass things down, right? You can pass the Bible down. You can pass history down. You're documenting things. So that's really what I want to do. I want to document things. And that Constitution I have beside my dry erase board, when little changes happen, I'm going to take that one pager off. I'm going to add an amendment. Okay, I'm going to make a slight change, a slight pivot, and I'm going to put the new one up on the wall now, and I can make an announcement the next day. Guys, I added this one amendment, if you want to call it that. It's right here. I've got it in writing. It's on the wall. Everybody knows clear as day what's going on in the business. That's really what a Constitution is, the history behind it, and that's what a Constitution is in our offices. We all want to talk systems, but just remember, if it's not in writing, it's not a system. It's just folklore. I have a couple of questions. What should be in our Constitution? Right? So that document on the wall, what should that contain? So I've got a handful of things I want to throw you. One should be sales standards. The way I like to put it is, what type of performance do you need to do to be in good standings? Good standings, what do you mean by that? What's the minimum, right? I'm in good standings, I have no concern of being terminated or I can't work here anymore. I think we should define that, right? So put the good standings in there. Leadership standards, right? Here's the performance that I expect to see with a leadership promotion. Promotion standards, a variety of different promotions, whether it be assistant management, whether it be leadership. But I don't want somebody saying, well, that guy did XYZ and he got promoted. I did XYZ, I didn't get promoted. There's favoritism going on. There's politics going on. This is part of the reason why we want this Constitution. It's black and white. everybody's treated the same. These are the performance standards. Schedule, right? Like things like, what are the days we work? What happens when you're tardy? Like what happens, with time issues, right? Your schedule. And then bonuses. I've always given campaign managers a spiff off the office if certain standards are met. So I just want to document those things. Those are the types of things, just as an example. I mean, you can write your own, but these are the types of things I want to put in my constitution up on the wall to make sure that everybody knows we're all playing to the same rules. It's not, well, these guys get a different set of rules than these guys. No, we're all playing by the same rules. These are the standards for sales. These are the standards for promotions. That's the Constitution. The follow-up question is, what should not be in the Constitution? Okay, so here's how I look at it. The last thing that I want to do is pigeonhole myself into a situation. Okay, I put all this stuff in writing. Here's the standards. Now a situation happens where I'm kind of like, oh gee, I got to do one of two things. I either have to make a decision I don't want to make because this is what the rules say, or I have to announce to everybody that there's an exception here. And as soon as you start making exceptions, well, now the exception becomes the rule, and now you just don't have standards. Everybody knows that Constitution on the wall, yeah, we don't really follow that. It just looks good on the wall, like, oh, we've got these high standards, but we don't follow through with these high standards. So I don't want to do that. I do like to have the ability to sort of feel my way through the business. Like I do like some gray area things. So I'll give you an example, like back to the good standings portion of the Constitution. Well, instead of making it black and white, like, well, if you perform below this level, it's time to say adios. Okay, so if you don't like that, hey, that's too rigid, Jamie. Well, you could put some things in there that, well, if you do perform to a certain low number, it's going to drive a crucial conversation. So you know that when this number happens, you need to go to the principal's office, if you will. You, the leader, the owner, we're going to sit down, have a crucial conversation so you can live a little bit in the gray area as you make this constitution. So again, I like to have a good feel for my business and have some things like not black and white. Other things I do like black and white. So you've got to really think this through. And again, I've had my constitution up on the wall and I'll rip it up, put a new one on. Like it's kind of a living, breathing document. I'm allowed to have amendments. I'm allowed to change it. I just highly suggest that if you want to communicate the standards, put it in writing, put it up on the wall. It's your constitution.